A pretty active morning, not for the NASDAQ market, but for individual stocks. Check this out. I wanted to share this with you guys. So the biggest mover that I saw that I've been actively watching is SOUN. A lot of you guys know that I've talked crap on this company because I thought it was an overbought piece of crap company when it was trading at $25 per share. It went from lows of $3 to highs of $25, and finally today is what I think is going to be the nail in the coffin to send this thing on a free fall back to $3 or $4 per share. So what was announced today? What was announced today? Jesus Christ, man, these freaking ads. So what was announced today was that shares of Chinese self-driving startup WRD are up about 88%. They soared about 135% on Friday after Nvidia published its investment in the company while exiting from positions of SERV and exiting out of SoundHound, which is SOUN. So this is exactly why SOUN is sinking. Nvidia exited its investment into this company and began to invest into this company, WRD. Now, do I think that this thing is going to continue to pump? No, not necessarily. I think it's an overreaction, just kind of how like SMCI, SOUN could be an overreaction on the downside. So could it recover a little bit before it continues to sell off? Of course. But overall, this is terrible news. Obviously, Nvidia was a huge factor on why there was so much certainty behind SOUN. If you have a juggernaut of a company like Nvidia investing into your company, that does provide and establish a form of credibility. Once that investment is taken away and that investment is no longer present, then again, if Nvidia doesn't want to invest in you, why would anyone else? So I think that would be the domino effect that we are bound to see with SOUN. But again, a nearly 30% sell-off is a very aggressive sell-off. So I wouldn't be surprised if it tries to slowly recover and then continues to sell off back to $3, $4, or maybe $5 per share. The other company that I quickly want to talk about, again, NASDAQ market pretty much trading sideways. It's insane that NASDAQ market is nearly at all-time highs, even when, if you guys didn't see today's most recent series of earning reports, or economic reports, this week we saw that CPI and PPI inflation is much higher than what was expected, yet markets continue to push up. On top of that, today we had retail sales come out, we had unemployment reports come out yesterday, and again, none of them showed that we have a strong economy. Retail sales are down on almost every single factor, and yet markets continue to push. Remember, markets can stay irrational for as long as they want to. I'm just making you aware of this so you are not surprised if then markets do begin to pull on back. I think the only thing we must understand is overbought and oversold levels. The market is not a good deal right now. Can it still push up? Of course, markets can remain irrational. That's not the question or the concern. It's just about risk to reward. If we do a coin flip and I'm like, hey, if it's heads, I'll give you $5. But if it's tails, you give me $70. Would you do that coin flip? Well, no, right? Because obviously the odds are not in your favor. Can you still make money? Of course you can, possibly because NASDAQ market can continue to push up. But the downside risk is so much greater than whatever upside slight potential in the short term you might experience. The reason I share this with you is just so you don't get caught adding too much size at these overbought levels, that if the market does sell off, let's say that if Trump were to announce any tariff news over the weekend, that if markets do correct, you end up being left bag holding or with a very aggressive position at those overbought levels that we eventually see a retracement on. So again, it's just being mindful of when to be aggressive and maybe when to trim some profits or be more conservative if markets are too overbought. The only other one that I want to share with you guys very quickly, this is just my 2 cents. I need to talk about the good and the bad. SMCI, there's a lot of big institutions that are supposedly investing into them. And SMCI has been a terribly ran company recently. It went from $122 all the way down to $15 per share. Supposedly, it's turning things around. The part that baffles me about this is that SMCI, when it reported earnings, it didn't even report. It missed reporting earnings for the second quarter in a row. They have up until February 25th to meet NASDAQ requirements and filing properly. Now, if they do report, this could be good news, especially if it comes out better than what was expected. But if they don't report or it comes out worse than what was expected, I want to remind you, this thing is up nearly 100% in just the past 10 trading days, from $25 to highs of $47, an 87% return in just about 2 trading weeks. So the reason I share this with you guys is because I want you to be aware of what factors, what's the deadline, and how this can be a potential ticking time bomb. There's huge pullback potential. Like even today, it ran up 11% for no reason. There's no news, there's no positive catalyst. It's just momentum. And again, that's very scary because if you trade against it, markets can remain irrational for as long as they want. But this is a very unique opportunity in my eyes. It's super risky because there is no confirmation of this thing selling off just yet. But again, when something gaps up this much within a short period of time, and if it doesn't meet the expectation on the 25th of February, again, this thing can really correct itself. Or, of course, if it does meet expectation, it can continue to push up. I like to make you aware of this so you can decide of kind of, hey, do I want to go long? Do I want to go short? Do I just want to watch it? Because there's so many different ways on how to make money in this market. Please just remember, do not put yourself in a position in which you cannot tolerate. Think about the good, think about the bad. Remember, our job is not to avoid risk. Our job is to manage it, and make sure you're mindful of that position size. Other than that, I really enjoyed today's live trading session. My LPP team got to see me short PLTR, which I walked away with a little bit over $1,000 profit. You can always feel free to watch my live trading sessions right at market open, and that's that second link in the description down below. You can sign up today and watch me trade live as soon as Monday. Other than that, I hope and wish you guys an amazing weekend. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.